What's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so before we get this topic underway, since I don't have any NBA gear with me right now, I would like to say congrats to the Seattle Sounders for taking down the Portland Timbers. That's why we're repping the Seattle Sounders gear today. The Sounders took down the Timbers on ESPN this last weekend. So, way to go, Sounders, and nice way to take down your arch rival. All right, we're going to talk about a situation that's going on with the league that I don't usually talk about because I am not very knowledgeable as I used to be about when it comes to this league, and that is the Los Angeles Lakers, Boston Celtics, LeBron James League, aka the National Basketball Association. Now, before you get started, if you are a diehard basketball fan, and you are diehard, whatever team you root for, the Los Angeles Lakers, Celtics, Dallas Mavericks, Sacramento Kings, Hornets, San Antonio Spurs, whatever. If you are a diehard fan of the NBA and a team, I feel you. I feel you with the lockout. I would never wish that on anybody. The lockout that I had to deal with recently, I guess you could say, would be the NHL strike that happened, and having ESPN at that time and all the hockey channels at that time. This is before Versus came along, and not being able to watch hockey was definitely very hard for me as a sports fan. So I'm very sorry that from what you guys are probably dealing with, those being the diehard fans. However, I have a different opinion, a different view of this whole NBA lockout, basically because I'm from Seattle. And as far as I'm concerned, the NBA can lock out its players as long as they want. I mean, if they really want to, go ahead and lock them out for 2 years instead of 1. Go ahead. I mean, seriously, good riddance to the NBA. And I know, I bring this up because me being a Seattle fan, I saw what the NBA did to Seattle. And, the NBA was only part of the reason what happened in terms of not getting a new arena. We could have piles of videos uploaded to the net in regards to this. But that being said, I was not necessarily the biggest the NBA fan when the Sonics left. I wanted the Sonics to stay, though, just because I don't like the NBA doesn't necessarily mean that there shouldn't be a team. If they're Seattle, I mean, as much as we hate to admit it, we're a basketball city. There are so many people who play rec ball. We watch the college games. We sold out Sonic games for 41 years. We're a basketball city, so there are a lot of people who still care about basketball here, despite not having a team. But I believe that Seattle fans right now should be rejoicing that the NBA is going on strike, and because the NBA is losing money. I really think that we should do this for these reasons. There were technically there were 5 key components of key players for why the Sonics left. The first one was the taxpayers, but we're not going to go there because I've had that conversation a bazillion times with people, and it just gets everybody angry. So wipe them out. The other 4 are the following. Howard Schultz, the owner of Starbucks. Now, Starbucks did take a hit for a little while after the Sonics left. But people are going to like their coffee. Starbucks is a national company, so there's nothing really we can do except for boycott the products. That's what I'm doing. That's what a lot of Seattle Sonic fans, I know of a lot of Sonic fans who are doing that as well. That's pretty much the only thing we can do with that one. Second one, the former mayor of Seattle, Greg Nichols. This guy was the last line of defense to keep this team in Seattle, at least to the point where the team could potentially stay for another 2 years and give us a little bit more time to figure out an arena situation. Instead, he comes to a settlement with Clay Bennett, more on him later, and pretty much sells out the team. So he's not in office anymore, so he's been dealt with. Then you got the other 2. You got Clay Bennett, the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder, and you got David Stern. Now, we'll start with David Stern. David Stern, I understand for a PR move, came and visited Key Arena when it was first built, so obviously he's going to say this is a gorgeous building. It's a PR move. I get that. But for him to flat out say, when the whole process was going on and trying to figure out what's going to happen with the Sonics, for him to come out and say Seattle was not a basketball city, it's that was a stab in the heart. Because, like I said, Seattle's deadliest secret is we are a basketball city. There's so many, middle school, high school, students playing rec ball who get cut from the JV or varsity from their middle and high school. Believe me, I know this. I was one of them at one point. I even played basketball. I'm not even a big fan of the sport. I played basketball when I was a kid. And then you also have, we have a big fan base in the professional world. So a lot of Sonic fans have made the trip down to Portland to see Trailblazer games. They've even stepped on that bandwagon because Portland is the big Northwest team now. We also have the Washington Huskies. I mean, heck, we even sell out Seattle Storm games. All right, so for David Stern to come out and say that Seattle's not a basketball city is ridiculous. And so the second person is Clay Bennett. Now, Clay Bennett wanted to leave Seattle immediately. He wanted to be a hero. It was blatantly obvious. So those two guys have not really felt the consequences of the Seattle Supersonics leaving. And this lockout gives Seattle fans an opportunity to point the finger and say, you know what, look how you did. You screwed up. You screwed up the league. You screwed up our team. And now the team is playing in Oklahoma City in the 43rd or 44th market in the country. Now, if there are any Oklahoma City fans who come across this, I'm not harping you guys. You guys built an arena. You guys raised taxes, you renovated your arena, you got yourself a team. Not harping you guys, but I'm harping your owner. There probably could have been an easier way to get you guys a team. And so, as far as I'm concerned, because of those two players that helped the Sonics move town, Seattle fans really has not seen David Stern or Clay Bennett lose money or suffer some sort of consequences. Well, with this lockout, they're going to suffer consequences. 22 teams out of 30 are losing money in the NBA. And as much as Oklahoma is soaring right now, they're in a small market compared to other places. So both men are going to lose a heck of a lot of money. Also, this is another great thing for Seattle fans because of this reason. The Oklahoma City Thunder have made the playoffs the last 2 years. And during playoff time, I mean, it's just like putting it's just like opening up the wound, it's terrible because what will happen is you have Sonic fans, thinking about how great it was when Gus Williams played for the team, Spencer Haywood, Gary Payton, Sean Kemp, Hershey Hawkins, Nate McMillan. We talk about the NBA Finals appearance against Chicago and also the appearances against the Bullets when we won it. The media soaks it all up and just says how great it was when we had a team. And meanwhile, the Oklahoma City Thunder just keeps on going and going and going. And we're watching the former Seattle Supersonics, and as much as some fans, as much as we do need to move on, it's still a recent thing. And it does tear at us. It does tear at us. When Oklahoma City wins a championship, Seattle is going to go AWOL. And it's not even funny because they're already rooting against the Thunder. Granted, I've heard some people like Durant, some people like Collison, but ultimately they don't want the Thunder to win. And every single time the Thunder wins, as much as I hate to say this, it makes Seattle look really bad. It makes Oklahoma City look good, but it makes Seattle look really bad. So, as far as I'm concerned, I think Seattle fans should be rejoicing that the NBA is not playing right now and will lose a ton of money. And ultimately what's going to happen is the NBA is going to come back and we'll have the same thing. Basketball season's going to come and people are going to continue to see the Thunder succeed because they got a good team. Don't get me wrong, they got a really good team. But if they're not going to play, it's going to help ease the pain a little bit for a small portion, a small time, for a very small time. So, like I said, I think Seattle fans should be very happy that the NBA is not playing right now and losing a ton of money. Because ultimately, we're seeing Clay Bennett and David Stern suffer some consequences. It's not necessarily going to bring a team back to Seattle, but at least for a time being, which is something we haven't had ever since the Sonics left. For a time being, Seattle fans can actually look at the NBA and say, look, you guys screwed it up. Now you can deal with the consequences. How does it feel? How does it feel not to have basketball at all? So that's my take on it. Love to hear your thoughts. Hopefully I didn't come across like a whiny Seattle fan. I know we have a tendency to do that, but that's just my take. That's just my take, because we've seen Howard Schultz, former owner of the Sonics, now owner of Starbucks. He took a small hit, not a very big one. We've seen him take a hit. The former mayor of Seattle is out of office, so we've seen him take a hit. We haven't seen Clay Bennett and Howard Schultz take a hit. So this is their hit. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll talk to you all later.